All right, good evening and welcome back to week 5 of the ECAC Overwatch 2 season. I'm your caster Inferno, back again with Althea and our observer Beldia. We have an action-packed game tonight, and I'll pass it to Althea for the team breakdown.
How's it going? We have some two very exciting teams here. We're starting on the left with Stockton Overwatch. They're on a current record of 3-1 out of Stockton University. And on the right, Team Red, we have UNCC or University of North Carolina at Charlotte on a current record of 2-2. So the record's slightly favored in favor of Stockton. But I guess we'll just have to see how these teams are doing and how they're playing. I'm excited to see the kind of comps we're running. We saw a big mix-up from some metas last week, and I'm hoping for something similar this week. And we're already starting out with quite a few stray picks like the Alari and Sigma.
Yeah, I mean, Stockton is hovering a pretty unusual comp. We have not seen it yet. Potentially is a very good comp we could see going into this. I would imagine Ferd is going to swap off of that Symmetra, just going for that teleport right out of spawn. We're going to see who they swap to, but we do see Dew sticking on that Alari and Tylenol on the Ana. We see more of a standard team comp coming from UNCC. Here. Purple on that Mauga. UNCC is right away at Stockton's door, putting the pressure on, getting kills. Now pulling back to that.
Yeah, we're seeing quite a few early picks there. Is Stockton? I mean, they found some towards the end there. They might want to keep the pressure up, but we did see UNCC with some nice pressure. I think that Mauga is just able to hold this corner much better. Alexander swap to the Bastion.
Yeah,
trying to shred,
yeah, it looked like he was going for that Mauga counter, put a lot of damage right into it. But UNCC just turn and burn, kill a lot of the members. Stockton is grasping at straws here, trying to figure out what they can do to, I don't know, put a dent in this team comp. Seems like UNCC is just in favor here.
Well, we're seeing them, like you said, definitely making attempts. That Sojourn is going to be a lot more DPS. We see that Zen for the Discord and Ana for the Anti, just to kill that Mauga, and it works out as Dew finds 2, maybe 3 here. As UNCC is on the back foot as Stockton just pushes them through. Definitely found the swaps they needed to make. It took a fight or two, giving UNCC about half of their cap, but they did take it, and we're going to see if UNCC is able to take it back fairly easily. They're going to have maybe somewhat of an ult advantage going into this. I think that when it comes to support ults, I'm going to lean in favor of UNCC here, but we're going to have to see if what can come down and what kind of picks these DPS can find on them. So we already see the Genji on the point.
Yeah, when we have that fight opening with that Kitsune rush from Delicate, and then Stockton just fights into it. It's incredible to see that UNCC isn't favored in that. I mean, with Doom.
I mean, it's Stockton Gold's golden DPS player here, Doom on the Zenyatta with the nano from Tylenol. Just we see Stockton's DPS fall, but Dew's doing a fine job of holding it. We've already seen some great picks from them. UNCC now on the losing end.
Oh! Yeah, we saw them get that Dragon Blade and find the pick onto Dew just as Transcendence was online. It just was available. Really great timing there for Ducky, but unable to do too much. Bird and Alakazam putting a stop to that push pretty quick. Now UNCC with that Mauga on the point, full HP, will come in and swing the point in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, that was just off the back of a phenomenal blade from Ducky and very unfortunate timing from Dew, not able to get that Transcendence up in time. However, that it's going to leave it up for this next fight as well as the DPS ults. So Stockton has a lot to work with to push through this point. They just need to find, I think, some nice damage on a Prometheus. Maybe get a nice anti with the Discord, and this is probably where they're going to find it.
Yeah, you see some ults now coming down that cage fight from Prometheus. Actually doing a lot of the protecting right now. Bird did have that overclock top, finding a pick on the Grim. Do slaying the tank again. Prometheus will have to walk back. What an incredible Zen pick. He is doing the doing everything Stockton needs. Putting down the damage, having that transcendence. Stellar performance from the Zenyatta player.
Definitely. And now we have been sitting on this artillery for a decent while here for this Bastion. And I'm hoping to see it find somebody since we've been sitting on it so long, but we'll see UNCC get their pressure up pretty quick. Big anti.
Coming out now. Yeah, that was a massive anti from Tylenol. Had a lot of them down. We saw a pick or two come down as a result of it. The UNCC seems to fight just a little bit harder on the back of that Kitsune rush. And now approaching that 100%, I'm not sure if Stockton will be able to contest this.
It's looking close, but I don't think so.
Nope.
Yeah, Alakazam just struggling to make it to the point as UNCC takes his first point in a very back and forth fight. Definitely a very exciting game that we're going to have ahead of us here, just based off that first point.
Yeah, we saw the support members of Stockton popping off. Amazing util usage from the side of Tylenol, the Ana player. And then Do was just popping off, cracking shots, slaying tanks. Just amazing work from them. I'm curious if we're going to see any swaps from the DPS. We do see Alakazam hovering that Reaper now. And possibly a Hammond, a Wrecking Ball from Florida Man.
Not sure what that'll exactly do.
Okay.
Wow, yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
Just...
Nah, not so fast, not so fast.
We're gonna do the Junkrat bit here, which will be good for these close quarter hallways and everything. Very easy to spam. But again, I don't know how well the Sigma is gonna work as it's gonna get caught out by
just running in, diving anywhere. Bird finally puts a stop to it, but Grim gets a few picks. UNC will start capping the point.
Yeah, now we have seen before this Torbjorn can be a pretty decent counter to the Mauga. Just doing a good job getting up close while also causing a pretty big distraction in the back for the DPS and supports to have to deal with that turret. But, I mean, I swap into the Pharah anyway, so...
Yeah, Pharah getting a good look at the enemy there. But exactly who they got to go after. Stockton can push up with this Sigma shield. Use that accretion, build up the shield. Does have the rock and a purple on the Mauga in the back line. Florida Man will opt to find fourth Plinko. Down goes Lucio. Delicate finds Tylenol. UNCC now up in this fight on pick. As their percentage is still climbing, they see no problem walking towards Stockton's spawn here.
Yeah, we've seen this before where the team here one of the teams does a great job of taking this point and then just it keeps going so well and the team on the defending end is just doing their very best to push up. And we're seeing a team just kind of camp this choke really hard to push into, especially with what UNCC is running with this Junkrat. See this tire
going along the outside. Yeah, no perks yet, doesn't have that nitro boost. Can't get the tire going a little bit faster. Does get popped. Tylenol finds their way off the edge.
Not sure about that one.
A little too far wandered off. That's alright. We see UNCC supports now trying to keep everyone up. An orbital ray from Do is going to send Stockton spilling into UNCC as they just back up to the point. Alakazam does have that rip fire. Going to see if they can get any usage out of it. Dragon Blade with the beat drop. Gonna make Gucky incredibly hard to kill. UNCC will clean up that fight at 99%, and that will seal the deal for Lijiang Tower.
And what a beautiful blade there from Ducky at the very end, just going in the back. We saw it the cancel on the tire as well as Prometheus just diving in, getting some great picks on the supports, giving Stockton just a little bit of space just to sweep it back and take it immediately. Very good from UNCC. We saw Stockton with a lot of great util use and a lot of good plays. However, UNCC, I think, just did it better. They had the better ult usage, the better ult economy. We saw Stockton just swapping characters maybe a little too often, which is why we did see less ultimate usage from there, just really begging for a solution, looking for something to work. And it seems like they just couldn't find that consistent answer they needed.
Absolutely. We're going to see what they can change for this second matchup here. Going into a payload, you're not going to want to run those. We're likely going to see that Malga again from the side of UNC. Do you think we're going to still stay on that Sigma pick?
From Florida Man, I'm not sure. I think again, typically we see a King's Row for this second map, but I think it'll really come down to the defending versus attacking side. I think that Sigma can play really well. We talked about this last week where the defense for King's Row really can change and make or break how the teams play. If they want the supports to play up on the high ground, DPS to play in the back or the front, and just have an Orisa on the bottom or even a Malga, just somebody that can take a lot of damage and hold a lot of space versus a dive type comp on the defense and what the attack does to play into that. I think that when it comes to that type of comp, it will work well against UNCC because when UNCC is running that dive, or I should say, it wouldn't work as well against them because with that dive, that Genji, we saw the power from Ducky able to dive those supports, jump that high ground. I think that you're gonna want your team to play together, so I think we might want to see more of a, I guess, grouped up type comp, maybe less of an Ana and a Zenyatta, maybe more like the Juno or somebody who has more survivability in the fight. So when it comes, like, back to your question, when it comes to the tanks, I think we'll see possibly that Sigma Malga, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe a little more protection and brawl oriented, like maybe a Junker Queen, maybe that just Malga mirror, something like that.
Yeah, completely agree. At least for the tanks, like you were saying, it would depend really which side. That Sigma could do some pretty good numbers on that defense, I believe. But for the attack, I think it is just safer to go with that Malga pick. It seems a lot. It makes it a little bit easier to push through that first choke when you have those constant cannons firing onto the enemy, putting down that great suppression. It becomes a lot harder when you don't have something like that to immediately break through that choke. We do see the team swap sides, which I believe means UNCC is going to be starting defense, and Stockton is going to be starting on attack.
I do believe so, and I mean, this is similar state of the map that we saw at the end there with Stockton just kind of holding that attack choke, trying to push through it as UNCC just held inside around those corners. And when it comes to how Stockton's going to be able to play into that, I think it might go well, especially with those backline supports. It's less easy for UNCC to dive them on defense. So I think it'll just come down to what UNCC is running for their positioning, and then how Stockton is able to respond to that, and if they're able to recognize the comp that they need to run to deal with it.
Absolutely, and we're going to see in just a few seconds here if Prometheus is just going to stick on that Malga, if we're just going to see a pretty similar comp as we just did from the side of UNCC. It looked like they were definitely comfortable on the picks that they had, and right away we can see that we don't. We see Ducky with the Genji, but Grim and Prometheus going for that Mei and Ramatra pick. Definitely not an everyday pick that you see here. Mei was definitely more relevant last season. Have not seen as much of her from this season. How do you think that combo is going to work here?
Well, I mean, usually you'd see the Mei with much more executable type of characters. However, I do think, I do think that it'll work well with the Ana, isolating the tank or somebody and then being able to hit that anti with the finishing power of Prometheus. I mean, Stockton doesn't even know that D.Va's going to get hard countered out of spawn already with that I think it'll work well. It just depends on what kind of target they're walling and if they're able to get that anti down through the defense matrix.
Alakazam
wow.
finds a huge pick, gets that charge shot up, rips Delicate's head off. Ducky is soon to follow. Stockton getting it cracking immediately. Finding picks, sending UNCC back to spawn. They need to start taking this ground while they still have the member advantage. Finding that main pick. A little bit staggered, gonna send Grim a little bit further back. Prometheus trying to get back up now. And although it's a losing fight for this D.Va, Florida Man is making it look like a winning fight. Finding the damage, finding the pick.
It's just a shambles. From the start of this fight, it was just insane picks from Stockton. I mean, we suffered with some insane shots, due with an amazing pick onto Delicate at the very start, and that's just not something that I won't say I was expecting to see, but it definitely was a surprise to see how hot Stockton came out just like that. Very quick, very aggressive, and you can tell UNCC was not ready for it.
No, Stockton's aggression was just a flash in the face for UNCC. All of a sudden, they're just now defending a pushing payload. It's like that first point never happened. A couple ults going to be coming online fairly soon here. This is still just going to be a brawl-oriented fight. Whoever can just lay down that gunfire better. Bird finding a pick. Florida Man getting T-Mech in the middle of it, though. Gonna have to do something about that. UNCC will start to bolster their defenses now that Florida Man is not as much of a threat. Ducky will find Bird on that high ground. And do. And I think that will finally be the stop of Stockton's push.
I mean, we saw some great picks from Ducky there. As always on that Genji, just when you're up close, able to get some incredible pressure in there. But, I mean, yeah, we do see UNCC finally put a stop to it. However, Stockton is going to be able to commit a lot now here. They have a lot to work with, both teams do. As we do see Florida Man swapping off that D.Va to that Sigma that we did see before.
Bob did come out from the high ground, smell the roses. He gets Maywalled, unable to find much. Vermonter now fighting into the back line with that annihilation. Finding picks after picks. Damage goes down. UNCC will win that fight with, I think, just 1 or 2 ults committed with the Blizzard from Grim as well.
Yeah, and I mean, we did also see 2 from Stockton as well committed, so I consider that a net win. It's 2 for 2, and you still have the point up as we see Ducky here in the back, ready with this blade.
Oh, gets sniffed out by Ferd though, but unable to find it. Will find the Mega instead. It still has that blade in the back of Stockton.
I mean, already that one pick is gonna slow down Stockton just enough.
Ducky will find it. Dragon Blade comes out, picks up 2 of the supports. Doing just a little bit more staggering now. Gonna kill Ferd again in the beginning and the end of that fight, as he's just gonna perch up again and just wait for them to push out.
Yeah, I mean, you can see UNCC, they were not ready for the aggression Stockton had that first point, but now they recognized it and they're matching that oppression here. You don't often see a Genji crouching around behind the back line with a blade, but UNCC is here to show as he takes a rock to the face, though.
That is one way to deal with a backline Genji. Hit him with a rock, send him back to spawn. We see some ults come out from the supports. Delicate doing more, getting a kill. Following up with Grim. UNCC has the picks, but Bird and Tylenol get some of their own with a tank and a support pick. Now fighting on the point, kills Horse Plinko.
Oh my, Grim with these
Just
shots.
a brawl on this point. No team's really willing to give up space. But Stockton will aggress, will get this payload pushing again.
And once again, we do see Ducky still crouching around this back line. Even still after, probably just looking for the support, but they know about him.
they are well aware. UNCC
Don't need to crouch.
needs
Don't need to
to.
crouch, Ducky. They know.
There's no need. They got your
Oh.
location. Horse Plinko lining up the shots, sending beats the way for Do and Alakazam. Listening to his mixtape, Prometheus. Dagger on the Sigma, I guess. Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
And
1 minute left on the clock. We
Yeah,
see
with 1 minute left.
Stockton.
Good point.
4 ults to work with from Stockton, and only about 2 from UNCC. So, I mean, assuming we see a good old Overwatch overtime ultimate dump here, I think it would go in
This one's
favor
gonna
of
get
Stockton.
colorful.
But I think it comes down to just which team is going to get which picks. We've seen the power of these DPS though. It's kind of hard to say which way.
Yeah, with ults coming out, we see the Blizzard from Bird be absolutely huge at shutting down Prometheus. Really great stuff. Stockton will keep it pushing. It's gonna go into overtime before they're able to cap this. They're not gonna be able to leave this point, and Ducky and Delicate are about to have their ults up. Oh, not if Tylenol can find the pick!
Is he playing
Florida Man does have that flux. Get that sniper ult action. Stockton's finding some picks. Florida Man still has that Sigma ult. Choosing not to use it. They can do it with just their autos. They will cap that second point and add a minute and a half back onto their clock.
I mean, yeah, I thought UNCC may have had a chance for that there. Just group up, get that last second contest and hold it there. But with the insane pick onto Delicate from Tylenol, followed up by the rest of the team almost just feeding onto point, as well as committing 2 ults, very unfortunate to see. We are going to see Ducky on this flank once again.
Ducky has located his target. Will find it, but his entire team will die in the making, leaving just Ducky in the back with a Dragon Blade. Will we see the 1v5? The 1v4? Not this time. Still not able to get out just yet. Gets the shield going right back in. Not for long. Finds a pick. 1 on to Do. Slicing away at Alakazam. Helps the team. And UNCC will pretty quickly just fight right back into it. Not let them get too far.
Yeah, I mean, really, we saw Ducky eat some of the utility at the start of that from the supports chasing them, and then immediately just snap back with that Dragon Blade, finding some nice picks and team wipe as it's coming down to 10 seconds left.
Yeah,
Get the Blizzard
gonna
from
have to
Ferd.
fight this in overtime. The Blizzard from Ferd does come down. Horse Plinko will get the boop though. Send them off the map. Couple ults. In addition, Alakazam gets that overclock up now. Gonna have to try to put it to use. Staring at a lot of members of UNCC though. Definitely a scary sight. Grim with that Blizzard. Gonna be able to hold everyone off. UNCC will stop Stockton. After the second cap though, they definitely got further than they were supposed to.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was very back and forth. I mean, at the start, I was expecting a Stockton sweep there with how quick they took that first point. I'm so surprised I mean, that was almost a 5-minute hold from UNCC for this second point. Very good job from both teams. I think that what it came down to was just how much attention the team was getting for like its distractions is probably the best way I can put it, where we saw Ducky causing that distraction in the back line, and was it just Tylenol dealing with them, or was it having Ferd or another DPS turn, eliminate the threat immediately, and then move on with the team fight? And I think that was part of a few things we saw. Also came down to just how quick we got some picks between both teams. We saw at the start of this insane picks on the supports at the very start, which just immediately turned it. And I'm wondering if we're going to see that again from either of these teams.
Yeah, we're going to see if UNCC can have that same aggression that Stockton had. I believe on Stockton side, it was Alakazam who started that off with a beautiful pick on the Sojourn. And we're going to see if Grim can follow it up. Florida Man on the Sigma for defense here. We weren't sure if they were going to go for this, but here it is. Let's see if they can hold it with Prometheus going that hazard. Pretty meta picks, pretty standard. I haven't seen too much of him so far this season, but we're going to see if Prometheus has been practicing.
We're already seeing UNCC taking so much space. However, do see Ducky fall to third. But we see UNCC definitely applying this dive with that hazard pick. Just taking this high ground, pushing Stockton off, taking the map control for themselves to give themselves the advantage.
Yeah, it seems like they're just working their way up on this high ground. Ducky will find Delicate, but not before Delicate will find Tylenol. Couple picks now for UNCC. They will start capping and will get a pick. Stockton is not yet to defend it. UNCC is approaching a second pick, looking to finish it off and get the payload moving. With 5 minutes on it again, that was another pretty quick attack side for the first cap there.
Yeah, we're seeing quite a few nice picks here. We saw Stockton just maybe a little divided on that defense, a little spread out, which I think is part of the reason why they fell so quick. Is we see UNCC fairly grouped here with this dive, and Stockton just kind of spread out, trying to fight their own battles.
We see a similar situation that Ducky's in, crouching around, gets spotted by Dude though. Stockton, they're going, I understand it now. Ducky's gonna be on these flanks, crouching around, waiting to pick his prey and pick him off. Unable to find as much usage now. Gonna be going in the back. Dragon Blade will be popped. Going down with the Delicate Ilarion. Gonna be exploding the members as well. Both teams come out. And the reflect bomb right back to Bird. Sorry. Turn to sender. Ooh, Ilari one. Here we go. The dash forward with the splash will secure it for Delicate.
Ducky respecting that 1v1 there.
Telling his Ilari to squabble up, get in there, fight it. And we'll win it.
Now we have 5 minutes on the clock for just about 50 meters here for UNCC. It's looking really in favor for them. So we already see Ducky on this flank. That's just always where they are.
Where can we find Ducky? In the back line. Almost got slammed into the pit. That would have been funny. Stockton finds a few picks. Gonna be looking to stop UNCC as they have 5 minutes to push it just the rest of this way. Looking to do anything they can, but gets picked by Florida Man. And Stockton will now stop the push from UNCC.
Yeah, I definitely think this third point is going to be a lot more in favor of Stockton just because of their team comp. This Ilari turret's going to have a lot more cover to play behind. That Sojourn is going to have much narrower angles, the much better close quarters for that Sigma, and Junkrat just all around a better map position for Stockton. However, they're going to have to deal with these ults. They do find amazing picks for.
Yeah, we saw Stockton expend 2 ultimates there. The Riptire and the Captive Sun. Definitely picking up all the teams. 4 minutes left. It would have been nice if they could have just tried to use that one Riptire and picked up the rest of it, or just the Captive Stun and tried to pick up. Using 2 is just going to put UNCC up 3 ults on them. It's going to be daunting to fight into.
UNCC now at 5 and dumping every single one at once.
Yep, just pressing Q as a collective team is one of the best tactics you can go for, as UNCC will pick up the team kill, will pick up King's Row. Oh, yeah. No touch, unfortunately, from Stockton.
I mean, in Overwatch, there are tactics, and then there are 5-man ultimates, and there is not much you can do against that.
And then,
Stockton
yeah.
just had to expend their resources, even holding that to begin with. It's going to be hard to respond, and that's going to see UNCC cap in this last one. So we see Ferd's 4K here, the second to last push. Just doing a great
Beautiful
job.
work from the Junkrat. As we will be getting into our third match pretty soon. UNCC definitely strong on that map. Looked pretty in command the whole way through. I didn't catch their finishing time bank, but definitely was pretty high up there. Pretty solid push from the attack side of UNCC.
Yeah, I think, again, we did see them with their strength, especially with Ducky on the Genji, and just the pressure that Grim is able to put on with that Sojourn, just keeping so much damage in the backline, causing such a disruption while putting so much more in the front. Very hard to deal with, and we can see that as Stockton was struggling there and really having to expend a lot of their resources trying to make that happen.
Yeah, we're gonna see how if they make any swaps for the push map. Gonna have to try to do something to stop UNCC, as this will be match point if they take this push map here. Gonna see what they select for it. We usually see that Esperanza, I believe. I'm not sure maps in rotation. Right? Double check.
I believe I don't think New Queen Street is in the roster, but I think it's either Esperanza or
New Queen Street.
it's no, I don't know. It's
Oh
lost
wait,
to me. I'm not gonna try, but
yeah, I also kind of Coliseo. Coliseo, isn't that it? No,
no, that's not
I
in
don't
the
know.
roster. Maybe it is New Queens. I'm not sure. We'll find out when these teams pick.
It's one of them.
Usually we see Esperanza. That's usually the go-to.
I try
We're
to
seeing,
forget about push as much as I can. It just haunts me.
yeah, definitely. It is crazy how some of these new modes, though, like Flashpoint, can almost make push look enjoyable.
Can almost make it seem, tolerable, palatable, just like
Yeah,
all right.
it is
Very
pretty
true.
crazy. We are seeing a couple swaps, though. We're seeing Ducky switching with Prometheus for the role of tank.
Yeah.
Interesting
Okay.
to see. I believe we were also seeing, uh,
I think it was
seeing
Fennel is in now.
yes, Fennel is in now for Delicate.
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah, we'll see what the swaps are for. I'm sure they're not doing this just for nothing. I'm sure they have a pretty set team comp that they're looking to run on this map, as it will be Coliseo. I'm gonna be getting
Yeah,
into that in just a minute here.
I honestly didn't even know it was in the map pool. I don't think we've ever seen a Coliseo game.
No, I guess the teams usually just favor Esperanza over it. But we will see it today, right here in just a few minutes. I'm curious what kind of DPS tank combo they're going to be running, because we saw Ducky like to go for that backline play, sneak around a little bit, make those quick picks onto the unsuspecting backline. But that's much harder to do as a tank. So I'm curious to see what kind of playstyle swap they're going to be going for.
Yeah, I mean, we did see that Hazard come out, which would be interesting to see. I do think that the brawl type comp is something normal for this. One thing I do want to quickly point out is I just gave a quick check to the rule book, and Coliseo is not in the rotation. So I'm assuming that they are swapping it out, but I guess we'll
Okay,
find out
yeah.
because it's not a legal map choice.
It
No,
looks like
yeah,
they are
so
trying to choose it.
yeah, that's uh not the right choice.
Yeah, they might.
I mean, The other team says they're okay with it, but I
Unless it
don't.
was... Yeah, unless it was just changed that it wasn't updated. Yeah.
I mean, the
Okay.
rulebook says, yeah, I guess not. We're going against the rules, but rules are made to be
We-
broken. Here we go.
We're here for it. We're gonna cast this anyway.
I'm
It's
so
gonna be a push
down
map.
for the first and only, probably only time we visit Coliseum here.
The teams did go into this. They both said they were cool with it. I'm not sure if that will hold up in the rule book, but either way, this is a match. We will cast the push. We haven't seen it yet, so I mean, I'm curious to see what kind of team comps we're gonna see here.
Yeah, I mean, it's new to everyone here, I guess. Hopefully not the players, however. I mean, we did see Stockton choosing the map. I do believe we do have the right sides. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Ooh, I mean, I'm already liking
All
what
right.
UNCC has up to offer
Yeah,
with
they
this
are cooking.
Doomfist and this venture. You know, I'm a little unsurprised, I should say, however, because we do want to remember that Ducky was on that Genji, and Genji players definitely translate pretty well into Doomfist players. So we're seeing Grim
Yeah,
also
we're gonna
make
see
that
it.
swap to the Genji instead.
Very true, and Prometheus favoring that venture here. Don't always see the venture come out. We did see a little bit of them last week. Let's see what Prometheus can do here. We did just get confirmation this is in fact in the rules, so this match will stand. And with Tylenol finding a first pick onto the tank player, Ducky's gonna have a rough first start for the tank.
Actually surprised to see.
Oh,
Surprised to see this Roadhog pick here.
yeah, from Florida, man. Definitely a pick. Did find some work there. Ooh, misses the hook onto Grim. Fighting is back on point. Ducky is pretty quick with that Doomfist. Gonna have to fight. And with Lucio getting trapped, Horse Plinko will get caught. Florida man finding two. Stockton will keep pushing.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised we saw UNCC putting on some nice pressure, but yeah, we are going to see the swap. I think that Stockton just has a little too much of a comp to be able to play that dive-esque play style into with that Doomfist. Stockton definitely has learned from their mistakes of having distraction and having your heads turned, and they're playing much more together, and I think that's part of why we see this Roadhog, as well as this Junkrat again, reoccurring with this more open type map.
Yeah, we see pretty early on the DPS of Stockton finding kills. Alakazam and Ferd cleaning up the entire team of UNCC. Amazing stuff from the DPS there. I mean, that's all you would expect your DPS to do.
Yeah, no ults committed at
no
that
ults,
too.
Yeah.
Seeing Horse Plinko swap out, we got the double trap here as well on these stairs. Horse Plinko on the Ana definitely help with that healing from the Hog. It can be hard to deal with, so that anti's gonna be good. We have a lot of ults from Stockton built up, and they're gonna want to use them and get them down before we see UNCC supports ults come up.
Yeah, before they get built, we're gonna see if we do.
Solo ult.
Fighting Prometheus and will find the pick, but gets traded. The explosion from Venture's auto attack, picking up the kill. Arisa with the Terra Surge. Ducky will find the pick. Fennel will find Tylenol, leaving just the Hog on point to heal for himself, and he will do just that. Off the point. Off the map. Never mind. Get in there, Ferd. You don't need a javelin.
Yeah, I mean, we saw
will
Stockton very ungrouped up there, very divided for most of that fight. I mean, we saw Do in the back line with Prometheus, and that was actually the only ult we saw committed, which I'm going to say is a good thing. I think that fight was lost fairly early on, just support falling back like that. So hopefully we can see them snap back pretty quick without too much progress gained in UNCC.
Nice play from the Venture there. Prometheus finding a pick on the Tylenol. A lot of DPS ults. Grim using the Dragon Blade as well as Word on the Tack Visor. Both teams popping ults, but unable to find really anyone leave it to the supports. Doom, yet again, we're constantly seeing in the kill feed. Finding these picks, Stockton will be up in the fight and will turn this robot around.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised we saw Stockton taking a lot of damage. I thought they had that going, but we saw a very nice sleep from, I think, Plinko. I'm a little confused actually, because I saw a member of Stockton. Never mind, I'm a little confused, but that's all right. We're seeing Stockton take back a lot of their space here, get the forward spawn. We'll see quite a few DPS ults probably come out here, but Prometheus is gonna fall to third.
Yeah, Prometheus extending all of that movement abilities to get in. Unable to really find much once you're in there then. Stockton will just very strong push back. Getting this bot pushing ever closer to the final destination. I think it's that double trap
ultimates committed, but that's also a lot of damage, or a lot of distance gained. UNC does have quite a lot to react to here.
Iconic shock coming down from Prometheus, going into that big-bellied hog, taking no damage. He's eating him. He loves it. Feed him more. Bird gets out of dodge. Just keeps sprinting. Never turned around. Stockton a little split up here now. UNCC is going to need to find some pick. But ends up getting picked. Do with a crisp headshot on the Grim. Going to try to keep everyone alive. Oh, but Florida Man gets picked. Yucky. Cleaning up now. Still close. Stockton is still fighting this. Both tanks are dead. This is just a DPS and a support.
Oh, but we
Here
are
we
gonna
go in
see.
soldiers.
Yeah, they're just gonna give up that space and go hold the forward spawn, I think.
That's smart.
Definitely. Yeah, probably the smart play, and they know that UNCC is gonna get back much quicker than Stockton. And we are gonna have that tactical visor with that Kitsune rush coming out, and that's gonna be a very strong combo if used effectively. And they are gonna hold this forward spawn.
Yeah, Stockton definitely has a better ult economy going into this fight. There we see the combo you were just mentioning, as well as a Kitsune rush from Fennel. Unfortunately, kind of getting negated there with Bird and Tylenol using that combination. Ooh,
Still
that's
doing what we
very
need to,
sad.
though. We saw Ferd put a lot of damage on the supports, which forced Fennel and forced Poinko to just back up, which gave pretty easy picks onto Grim and Prometheus. Following up with Ducky. As UNCC is on the back foot, Stockton gets this cap, and they're back in this situation for the third time where they're, I mean, fairly tied on ults. We're seeing Ducky swap to the Mauga. Fairly tied on ults. We're gonna have this tactical visor with the Nano. Pretty strong.
You're gonna see what UNCC is able to do with the switch from Ducky onto the Mauga. You're right, it might make more of an impact. Alakazam using that tire to find a support though. UNCC seems to be running back Stockton now. 2 members left, and they will get the bot moving back in favor of them. Have a lot of distance to make up, yo.
Yeah, I think that Mauga pick was very crucial. I think it's going to give Ducky a lot of survivability, especially when you're fighting into that hog. It's just free damage, free health, just basically infinite survivability if you're doing it right, unless you get hooked out of positioning. But even so, you have that unstoppable charge to get back. So I think we're going to have to see Stockton make a swap. Otherwise, I think UNC might just keep their momentum up here.
You're very right. We see that Mauga critically low. Ducky's gonna need to heal up just a little bit. Captive stun comes down from Doom. Finds a pick on the Prometheus. Incredible plays from Doom today. I mean, like I was saying, we're constantly seeing them in the kill feed. Also doing a stellar job at the support. Everything you'd want your support player to be doing. Where's Plinko sitting on this Nano? Gonna have to try to use it sometime this fight. before they get picked by Bird. There we
Oh
go.
my
Grim and
gosh.
Fennel responding with a combination ult of their own. And Stockton back to spawn.
And that's going to be quite a stagger on Do as well. Yeah, and I mean, I think the one thing that's going to come between UNCC and this victory here is just the disconnect and how much disruption Stockton can hold. I mean, you don't have to kill the Mauga if you can just kill the supports first, and I think that's the best bet. You're seeing already some very nice picks from Stockton. We're going to flip this back. Prometheus, though, too.
Before getting shut down by Hog. Yeah, Stockton responded pretty easily there. It seemed like they just kind of waited to get everyone up all together. Found two very early picks onto Grim and Fennel, and then just turned the tables on UNCC without even letting them get very far.
Yeah, and I mean, now we're going to see it meet again in the middle. UNCC has to basically double their distance now in order to even get the chance at this victory here. Match point. But it's looking slightly in favor of Stockton as we hit overtime.
Yeah, they're going to be using this tack visor as well as the Kitsune rush. But Ducky with the cage fight is going to block off a lot of that damage. UNCC is actually able to fight so well into this fight with that. What a play from Ducky. That was a beautiful cage fight.
We saw Florida Man doing their absolute best to survive that, but it was just a lot to be tanking, especially with the Mauga point blank. And I don't know how well this Hog is going to continue to work. We did see Stockton commit 3 of their ults here. We're going to have to see a really big tire from Alakazam to make this valuable. If I were them, I would be going for probably Fennel, building up to this Kitsune rush. If they get that down, it's going to be tough.
Already finding a pick on the Prometheus. That Kiriko cleanse saving everyone. And now with the Kitsune rush, UNCC is fighting back into this even harder. Grim does have this tack visor. Stockton does not have any ults to fight into this.
20 meters to go, and Stockton just doesn't have any responses. They're getting up to this whole Hog, but I don't know if that'll be enough. Preemptively popping this. I don't know if that's too early.
Comes out.
Absolutely not.
Maybe
not.
Oh my god, 3 kills from Grim. Stockton has slipped up. And UNCC will push all the way and then some to completely win the push map. What a play! What an overtime!
Yeah, I mean, I feel like reverse sweep isn't the right call for that. But that entire game was in favor of Stockton almost that whole time. UNCC pushed that so far there in that overtime. I mean, we saw Stockton just at that 0 in that middle commit so many ults and still lose, and then that left just nothing left to work with. That tack visor at the end there, definitely have it. We saw, I mean, the fight around going around that corner, definitely could have used it in that Kitsune rush, but decided to hold it, and it definitely paid off there. As we saw a Grim, I believe, find 4. Just absolutely phenomenal play from UNCC. Definitely not how I was expecting that to go down.
Yeah, you've got to feel amazing if you're UNCC right now. I mean, being down, like you said, the majority of that game, like 95% of that game, they were on the back foot. Stockton was pushing. And it seemed like they were ulting better. They were killing better. They were just doing everything to do. And then right at the end, they started slipping up. A mistake here, a mistake there. And UNCC blows the door down. They walk that robot all the way back through the mid, through their pass barrier, push it all the way up, and will win on that push map.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I did attribute it to as well, I mentioned it as soon as I saw it, was that Mauga swap into that Roadhog. That Roadhog is just going to struggle so much finding any more value, especially with just how much you're going to get shredded by that Mauga, and we definitely saw it there, and I think that 100% attributed to UNCC's win there.
Absolutely. It just becomes so much more of an uphill battle to fight into that Mauga as Roadhog. And Well, we see UNCC take advantage of that, win that game, win the series in 3-0 fashion. The first two games were definitely a lot closer. UNCC looked pretty good on that map.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
sorry, Stockton looked pretty good on that map. I'm sorry. Stockton looked pretty good on that map just up until the last end. And then UNCC definitely took it away.
yeah, I mean, we see this recurring pattern with some of these teams where one team will be doing really good and just a decent job for most of the game, and then the other team will be able to respond to it, and the original team just isn't able to make that second response. Like there, we saw that we saw Stockton doing a really good job holding that for a while. We see that Mauga swap from Ducky, and then from there, just not much left for Stockton as they still decide to hold that Roadhog with, I think it was about 3 minutes or so on the timer that they were taking that. But regardless, good games to both teams. Congratulations to UNCC for the win. I've been Althea, joined by Inferno and our caster Beldia. Any final words from you, Inferno?
Yeah, absolutely. Great games tonight. Both teams definitely showed up. Both teams definitely came to play. UNCC walks away with it today. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Thank you for all the support. Make sure you tune in to the rest of the ECAC streams throughout the week and the Marvel Rivals tournament on the weekend. We will be back next Thursday. And I